most of you who watch TV Newsance know that regularly we like to do TV Newsance Live, which is a conversation that we like to have with our regular viewers, people who like watching us. The first half an hour of the show, we will talk about an issue. In this case, we will talk about the Atiq case and the encounter and the killing, which has been, I think, the biggest news of this week. And the next half an hour of the show, we will take your feedback. We will take your questions. You can tell us how much you love us. You can tell us how much you hate us. And 700 people are watching us. Thank you guys for joining us. So this is TV Newsance Live. First half hour, we're going to be talking about the Atiq Ahmed case, and then we're going to take your feedback. Now, exactly 1 week ago, Saturday night, Atiq Ahmed, along with his brother, was shot dead in a very, very alarming, surprising, shocking news event. Both of them were in police custody. They were being taken for medical checkup and they were shot dead on live television. And I think that is one of the most alarming things that at least I have seen in my career. And also it's very ironic because we have done one episode on how the media has been chasing Atiq Ahmed for a very long time. The whole, when he was being taken from Gujarat, Sabarmati jail to UP, the cavalcade that he was in, the police tamjam that he was in was followed by reporters. We saw Atiq peeing live on television news. We had anchors saying zoom in as he was peeing. So there's been intense media scrutiny and media tamasha around it. He's been followed around. The police has been followed around. I think Uttar Pradesh police had a very hard job with the media because it was just relentless, the kind of coverage that they were getting. And at one point, I think the police really had to struggle to keep the media away. And then 3 men pretending to be the media, pretending to be from a news agency, come at this spot outside the hospital at night. And they have ID cards also of the media. So they're pretending to be television reporters who are trying to get a bite from Atiq Ahmed. And they start firing at him. Within seconds, I think people don't even realize what has happened. The police, you can see, suddenly moves away. And these guys shoot. And then they surrender. They shout Jai Shri Ram. And the police finally catches hold of them. So that is what happened. So from seeing Atiq pee on live television to seeing his murder and committed by people who were pretending to be the media, I think it says a lot about what is happening today. And we'll get into all of that. But I think first, I just want to show you that some of the things that were said right after the murder and how the channels covered it. Because it's a big news. It says so much about security. Remember, the guys are in police custody. So for 3 complete, noobs, they don't have any previous, record of killing anyone. They have some criminal cases against them, but they have managed to break through security detail. They are carrying rifles, guns, and they managed to shoot. It's very, very alarming. So the question should have been more about law and order, police preparedness, but it turned to celebration, at least for the first 24 hours. If not celebration, it was like, wow, maza aa gaya. Shooting ho gayi, और खात्मा हो गया माफिया का, और यूपी अब बस safe हो गया है. And a lot of important questions were not asked. So just check out now what we have for you. A few clips of what happened right after Atiq was encountered. Can't say encountered, really murdered, because here it's 3 men. So let's just play that.
योगी का संदेश साफ दिख रहा है, जब तक तोड़ेंगे नहीं तब तक छोड़ेंगे नहीं.
माफिया अतीक और उसके भाई अशरफ का अंत. सरेआम गोलियों से पुलिस के घेरे के बीच खून डाला गया.
और ये देखिए, अतीक अहमद नीचे गिर जाता है क्योंकि उसके सिर में गोली लग चुकी थी.
अतीक और अशरफ अब सुपुर्दे खाक हो गए. ये अतीत बन चुके हैं, यानी कि अतीक अब अतीत बन चुके हैं. ये देखिए, ये अतीक की कब्र खुद रही है. पहली नंबर पे अतीक की कब्र है और दूसरे नंबर पे अशरफ की कब्र है. अतीक की बॉडी थोड़ी चौड़ी है तो ये कब्र चौड़ी खोदी जा रही है, जबकि अशरफ लंबाई में है और उसकी बॉडी पतली है. तो यहाँ पे अशरफ की दूसरी कब्र खुद रही है.
दरअसल हम इस वक्त कब्रिस्तान के अंदर मौजूद हैं. अतीक अहमद और अशरफ की कब्र पर कुछ लोग अभी भी लगातार यहाँ पर पहुँच रहे हैं, मिट्टी दे रहे हैं.
ये तस्वीर डॉन अतीक का माफिया बेटा असद के जनाजे की, एनकाउंटर के बाद उसको मिट्टी में मिलाने की.
क्या माफिया राज उसका एंड हो गया है।
आज भी हमारे देश में विपक्ष के नेता इस अतीक अहमद के लिए आंसू बहा रहे हैं, इसे अतीक जी कहकर पुकार रहे हैं और कह रहे हैं कि अतीक के साथ जो कुछ हुआ वो बहुत बुरा हुआ।
ये जो आप अतीक जी कर रहे हैं, ये अतीक जी कौन है? Can there be a greater and more perverse case of misplaced priorities, dear viewers?
क्या उत्तर प्रदेश में माफिया और दंगाइयों के दिन लग गए? क्या योगी आदित्यनाथ, जिन्हें उनके समर्थक महाराज जी भी कहते हैं, उनके आगे नहीं टिकेंगे माफिया?
So you saw that, and I was also watching along with you. Reporters standing on, at the graveyard and saying कि ये अतीक की कब्र थोड़ी मोटी है, मतलब थोड़ा चौड़ी बन रही है, और उनके भाई का थोड़ा मतलब लॉजिक तो आप छोड़ ही दो, लेकिन कितना क्रास है ये कि आप ये डिटेलिंग की कोई ज़रूरत भी नहीं है इस टाइम पे, जब आपको बात करनी चाहिए पुलिस की डिटेलिंग की, या आप यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव कॉन्टेक्स्ट टू योर व्यूअर्स, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल मे नॉट नो हु अतीक अहमद इज, व्हाट इज हिज what kind of reign he had, his reign of terror. Why did people fear him so much? How did he enter politics? So all those things are very important for the viewer. I think it's a very big story, and at that point, did we really need to show कि उसकी कब्र कैसे खुद रही है और मोटी है या पतली है? You can use that time to actually really explain to your viewers what this man meant in that area of Prayagraj for people, what his reign of terror was, what was the kind of nature of cases against him, the first murder, the first crime he commits when he's a teenager, from there to his rise as a don and his entry into politics. So all those things are very important to talk about, and I think that could have helped, but that didn't happen. Now I just want to first start with focusing on the fact कि ये जो murder हुआ वो live television पे हुआ, मतलब reporters वहाँ थे, और कुछ जो तीन इसमें जो accused हैं, जो तीन लड़के हैं, उनके बारे में हम बात करेंगे, but they dressed up as media and they came and they started, they pretended that they're going to take a bite from Atiq. So next to them there were ANI reporters, PTI reporters, reporters from Atiq, cameramen. So it's a very dangerous situation actually, that a shootout has happened and you're right next to them. Bullets these things are not predictable. Luckily everyone was safe, but it could have led to something quite gruesome. So at that moment, I think it required news anchors, reporters there to be a little, how should I say it, serious about what had happened. It was a very serious thing, but I think काफ़ी कॉमिकल सी रिपोर्टिंग हो रही थी वहाँ पे, और बहुत ही एजिटेटेड रिपोर्टिंग हो रही थी, मतलब कि पीपली लाइव का 10x हो रहा था वहाँ पे. तो आपको एक क्लिप दिखाते हैं जी न्यूज़ से. अपना थोड़ा ऑडियो कम कर लीजिए, बिकॉज अभी बहुत ही ज़ोर से कोई बोलने वाला है. तो जस्ट लेट्स शो यू द जी न्यूज़ क्लिप फर्स्ट एंड देन वील कम बैक.
और देखिए बड़ी अपडेट, दोनों आरोपी पकड़ लिए गए, 3 आरोपी पकड़ लिए गए. इस वक्त की बड़ी खबर, गुफरान खबर ब्रेक करिए.
तीनों आरोपी जो माफिया अतीक अहमद को और उसके भाई अशरफ को गोली मारने के लिए यहाँ पर पहुंचे थे, फिलहाल दोनों को मौत के घाट जरूर उतार दिया गया, लेकिन तीनों आरोपी पुलिस की गिरफ्त में हैं. तीनों आरोपियों को यहाँ की
बड़ी खबर.
So that was बड़ी अपडेट, and he's really agitated. And let's just see the next, what happens आगे जाके. And the interesting thing is that on Z News, 3 reporters are talking to each other. So at that point, obviously the police was probably in a state like they don't want to entertain any media questions. What has happened is big. They need to figure out what on earth has happened here. They have arrested these men. They have to figure out a lot of things. And so you can see that a lot of journalists there at that point did not have much access to credible information, because also within minutes police क्या ही बोल सकती है क्या हुआ. उनको खुद का इंटेरोगेशन करना होगा, उनको देखना होगा एक्चुअली हुआ क्या है. तो रिपोर्टर्स अपने आप में ही बात कर रहे थे और काफ़ी चीज़ें रिपीट कर रहे थे, जैसे आपने जी में देखा कि बड़ी अपडेट, पकड़े गए तीनों. तो रिपीटेशन में सब कुछ चल रहा था. एंड जस्ट सी आगे जी न्यूज़ में पूरा ये खबर कैसे खिंचती है. तो जस्ट लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट क्लिप.
20 सेकंड, 20 गोली, 3 कातिल और दी एंड. अतीक का अंत ऐसा, सोचा नहीं किसी ने जैसा।
So, channels are basically, in the lack of anything interesting to show, channels were counting the number of firings कि ठाए 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 कितना हुआ। तो आपने वो, अगर आप रिवाइंड करके देखेंगे वो क्लिप, तो बेसिकली उसमें साइड में, लेफ्ट साइड में लिखा हुआ है कि गोली नंबर 1, गोली नंबर 2, गोली नंबर 3, गोली नंबर 4। मतलब इतनी वेली रिपोर्टिंग हो रही थी कि वहाँ बैठ के काउंट करने के, बिकॉज इस इन्फॉर्मेशन से आपको क्या ही पता चलेगा कि काउंट करके आपको बताएं कि कितनी गोली पड़ी है। आई थिंक दैट टाइम कुड हैव बीन यूज्ड मे बी टू टॉक अबाउट एग्जैक्टली what had transpired, talk about how I think shocking it was. And I think at that point, I think reporters could also, and here's where I think the media can also become a story sometimes, because reporters were also witness to a live murder. So you can very well explain to your viewer how what a shocking sight that was, and the perils of reporting something like this. But of course they will not do that, because they were reporting this 24/7. And in fact we spoke to the reporters who were present there. My colleague Sumedha, she reached out to ANI, PTI, Atiq, a lot of the reporters who were there, to ask them what they saw, how they felt, how worrying it was for them. And if we can just show the headlines, show that article on full screen, because I'll then read from it and I'll show people what we spoke about. Can we have the article on? Yeah. So you come to this para where it says, the gunshot nearly escaped me. My colleague Shiv saved my life by pushing me down, and the gunshot passed right above me. So this is a reporter who was present there, and he was talking about how he could have actually died. And I think that is something very important. He's from Press Trust of India, and this one aspect, of course, television news, you will not hear it, because I think they want to also boast about the fact that they were there and how they are not scared at all, and they caught everything. Everyone got exclusive access and everything. So that was not really discussed on television, but I want to draw your attention to the fact कि एक रिपोर्टर के लिए कितना दहशत वाली चीज़ हो सकती है। और एक और चीज़ मैं इसमें आपको पढ़ाना चाह रही थी, if you come down to yes, we were scared. So another reporter that we spoke to, I'll tell you from which, yeah. So one more person who was there basically said that that we were scared, but we had to get back to work. I can cry and process the incident later. I started recording immediately, because when you're on the field, you don't want to miss the moment. We have to be the first to break the news. That is the duty of a reporter. And the next day at 7 in the morning, all of us were back to work. I think that this is important to realize that reporters there realized कि ये कितना दहशत भरा सीन था, दहशत भरा सीन था। कितना स्कैरी हो सकता है कि कोई 3 लोग आके पुलिस के सामने गोली मार के इतने बड़े डॉन को, इतने बड़े शख्स को, जिसके बारे में पूरी मतलब कंट्री ऑलमोस्ट एक हफ्ते से बात कर रही है, एटलीस्ट नॉर्थ इंडिया में, कि कैसे उसको मार दिया जाए, और जर्नलिस्ट भी आसपास हैं। तो एक बहुत fear, it's a very scary situation, and I think a lot of reporters felt that, but they were unable to communicate that on camera, because on camera, for the show to go on and for the TRPs to go on, the sense that was created was more of drama, that ये हो गया और अतीक ढेर हो गया और इतनी गोलियां चल गई और ये लोग आए और खात्मा हो गया पूरा। टिकर्स में अगर आप पढ़ें तो प्रयागराज में माफिया का खात्मा, मतलब ऑलमोस्ट सेलिब्रेटिंग कि बाबा जी ने अब सबको दिखा दिया टाइप। But the sense of fear that reporters, I think, felt there, the sense of lack of law and order that I think firsthand they must have experienced there, the sense of how security failed, that was not communicated on television screens. I think reporters were exaggeratedly talking. They had to be animated, they had to be dramatic, they had to do all of that, because that's what television news demands. It demands a spectacle. It is not there to really tell you today. Television news is not there to tell you what an incident or an event can mean, what what does this mean for society, for like I said, for law and order, but it is to keep you engaged by showing you a spectacle. तो आपको almost एक Gangs of Wasseypur type movie की feel आपको देने की कोशिश हुई कि ये revenge था और कैसे लोग आए और मार दिया गया और खात्मा हो गया और गोली की आवाज़ सुनिए और अब देखिए कब्र खुद रही है. तो एक लिटरली इसमें चैप्टर बाय चैप्टर आपको एक एक सोप ऑपरा या एक मूवी टाइप एक फीलिंग देने की कोशिश करी. इसमें जो हमने मिस करा, मेरे ख्याल से बहुत बड़ी स्टोरी है जो हम लोगों ने कवर करी रिपोर्टर्स से बात करके, कि ये इस सब के बारे में, ये जब ऐसा कुछ होता है तो व्हाट डज इट the fear that this instills in society. I think even people who didn't like Atiq, and I think most people didn't, most people find him an abhorrent character, even they would for once feel that, oh my god, something like this has happened right in front of the police, तो फिर regular लोग कितने safe रह सकते हैं. So, and I think just to break things a bit, this is the first time I think that news coverage around an event became a topic of conversation itself. So usually on TV Newsance, we really talk a lot about news coverage. We talk about how reporters are, what reporters are doing, what primetime anchors are doing. We talk about things. But I think here in this case, for the first time, everyone was talking about how the media was reporting on an issue, and it became like a primetime, a social media phenomenon. It became meme material. कि कैसे रिपोर्टर्स या न्यूज़ एंकर्स ऑलमोस्ट 1-2 हफ्ते से बोल रहे थे कि गाड़ी पलटेगी या नहीं, इनकाउंटर होगा या नहीं, अतीक बचेगा जिंदा या नहीं, बेटे को मार दिया अब अतीक का नंबर, अब अतीक मर गया तो अब किसका नंबर. ऐसा जो रिपोर्टिंग हो रहा था, इतने टाइम से इतने स्पेकुलेशन हो रहा था कि अतीक कब मरेगा, अतीक कब मरेगा, और लाइव ही आपको मरता हुआ आपने कैप्चर कर लिया उसको. तो ये एक मीडिया फिनोमिना आई थिंक बहुत चर्चा में रहा. लॉट ऑफ पीपल वर टॉकिंग अबाउट इट. इट बिकेम अ सोशल मीडिया थिंग, एंड आई फाउंड दिस वन मीम ऑन Instagram which I thought was it's a reel, and I thought it was quite funny and quite telling from this. I think I don't follow this person, but he's an influencer, I think, from Prayagraj. So he's made this rather funny reel, I think, which will maybe help you sympathize a little with what the reporters went through there, or what a reporter's life can be sometimes while chasing TRPs. So can we play the reel?
मेन बात ये है कि
दिखाइए आनंद जी, क्राइम सीन की तरफ दिखाइए. आनंद जी प्लीज क्राइम सीन की तरफ दिखाइए. आनंद जी कवरेज मिस हो रही है. हेलो 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 आनंद जी कवरेज मिस हो रही है. कवरेज अरे तुम्हारी टीआरपी के चक्कर में भी आरआईपी हो जाता. तुमको रिपोर्टर का जरा भी ख्याल है? कहीं भी भेज देता हूँ. अभी कान के पास से गोली निकली है. अभी तक भी की आवाज आ रही है. मम्मी तुमको
So I really loved how he says तुम्हारी टीआरपी के चक्कर में भी आरआईपी हो जाता. एंड हम इस पे हंस रहे हैं, लेकिन ये एक्चुअली बहुत सीरियस सिक्योरिटी सेफ्टी ऑफ रिपोर्टर्स की भी बात है. चाहे हम कितना भी क्रिटिसाइज़ करें या क्रिटिक करें या टीवी न्यूज़ के बारे में बात करें, एक चीज़ तो है अपनी जगह कि टीआरपी के चक्कर में इन लोगों को बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता है. हमने पूरा शो करा है अतीक पे इससे पहले कि भाई कैसे कैसे अतीक से छोटे बाथरूम ब्रेक के बारे में इन लोगों को 24/7 बोलना पड़ा. But the safety of reporters, security of reporters, and what such an incident can have a psychological impact on you. When you go back home, you probably think, shit, मुझे गोली लगती तो क्या हो जाता. क्योंकि अभी इंसिडेंट पे हम मीम बना रहे हैं, हम बात भी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो चेंज अगर किसी को चोट लगी होती तो बिल्कुल ही हम आज इस पर हंस नहीं रहे होते, ये बात नहीं करते, और हो सकता है ऐसा काफ़ी. सो लाइव रिपोर्टिंग का आई थिंक इसमें जो पेरिल है वो बहुत दिखा हमें. Live reporting ka peril is a very bad sentence, but basically what I mean to is the perils of live reporting we saw in this, and a lot of people were talking about it. And like I said, from our article in News Laundry, when we spoke to reporters there was a sense of fear. That sense of fear was not communicated to you through their live reporting. Maybe the tone of the reporting was celebratory, or it was like, what a movie, we're showing you this crazy movie. But I think somewhere everyone felt that sense of fear, insecurity, and unpredictability of life. After Atiq's murder on live TV, television media has been in a frenzy and they haven't stopped at it. अब सवाल पूछे जा रहे हैं कि अगला इनकाउंटर कौन सा है. सो आपको बेसिकली मूवी का पार्ट 1 खत्म हो गया, गैंग्स ऑफ वसेपुर पार्ट 1 ओवर, गैंग्स ऑफ वसेपुर पार्ट 2 अब लोगों को दिखाना है. तो अब किसका इनकाउंटर हो सकता है? क्या मुख्तार अंसारी का होगा? क्या अब शाइस्ता बेगम जो अतीक की वाइफ है, शी इज अब्सकॉन्डिंग, शी इज ऑल्सो वांटेड इन केसेस, क्या उनको इनकाउंटर हो सकता है? क्या किसकी गाड़ी अब पलटेगी? सो आपको एक ब्लड थर्स्टी व्यूअर बनाने की कोशिश हो रही है, जहाँ आपको आप इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस मत पूछिए कि भाई लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के बारे में क्या, अगर अतीक का ऐसे मर्डर हो जाता है तो इसका क्या मतलब है कि यूपी सेफ हो गया है? कैन वी मेक दैट क्लेम कि अब यूपी इज कम्प्लीटली सेफ बिकॉज दिस पर्सन हैज बीन शॉट लाइव, shot dead in his head on live television in front of police, in front of media cameras? Does this mean we are safe, or does this mean we are going into a total situation where there is no control, there is no it's basically a situation of total chaos? So is the state plunging into a situation of total chaos? Those are the questions we should be asking. But I think वो question के बजाय हम और excitement produce करना चाहते हैं न्यूज़ के थ्रू. हम बताना चाहते हैं कि अगला कौन हो सकता है, अगली मौत किसकी होगी, क्या आपको टीवी में हम वो दिखा पाएंगे या नहीं. सो आई जस्ट वांट टू शो यू कि शाइस्ता बेगम जो हैं, जो वांटेड हैं, उनके सर पे नाम है, अतीक की वाइफ हैं, अभी तक मिसिंग हैं. गुड्डू मुस्लिम और शाइस्ता जो दो हैं इस केस में इम्पॉर्टेंट, वो मिसिंग हैं. पुलिस उन्हें पकड़ नहीं पाई है. लेकिन उसके अराउंड कैसी मीडिया फ्रेंजी क्रिएट हो रही है अब, क्योंकि और तो कोई इश्यूज़ है नहीं. सत्यपाल मलिक ने तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं है, उसको हम इग्नोर करेंगे टोटली, उसके बारे में हम बिल्कुल बात नहीं करेंगे. लेकिन हम दिखाएंगे कि अब अगला नंबर किसका. सो लेट्स प्ले सम क्लिप्स ऑफ रिपोर्टिंग ऑन शाइस्ता.
अतीक, असद, अशरफ का बदला लेगी शाइस्ता?
शाइस्ता का ऑर्डर, अतीक के हमलावरों को खत्म कर दो! एक्सक्लेमेशन.
लेडी डॉन ही असली खिलाड़ी है जो अभी तक पकड़ में नहीं आई है.
योगी को लेटर भेजकर बुरी फंसी शाइस्ता.
हाय अल्लाह, ये मैंने? शाइस्ता और गुड्डू मुस्लिम के कनेक्शन का सच क्या?
क्या उमेश पाल हत्याकांड में अब अगला एनकाउंटर अतीक अहमद की पत्नी शाइस्ता परवीन का हो सकता है?
क्या शाइस्ता परवीन का एनकाउंटर हो सकता है?
शाइस्ता परवीन की क्राइम कुंडली.
ये गेट है, घर है शाइस्ता परवीन का, उसका मायका पक्ष, और यहाँ से जितने लोग रहने वाले थे, बड़ा परिवार रहता था, एक भी शख्स नहीं है. सब के सब फरार हैं या कहीं छोड़कर चले गए हैं इतनी जल्दबाजी में कि ना घर पे ताला लगा के गए हैं और ना ही कुछ भी सामान लेके गए हैं. आप देख सकते हैं सबसे पहले एंट्री करते हुए ये तलवार यहाँ पे पड़ी हुई है. इसका बताता है, इसका मतलब कि यहाँ पर कुछ दिनों पहले ही लोग रह रहे थे और जैसे कि तैसे स्थिति में यहाँ पे छोड़ के भाग गए हैं. आप देख सकते हैं महंगे अच्छे खासे डिजाइनर पर्स यहाँ पर पड़े हुए हैं.
अतीक अहमद का कई बार यहाँ पर अतीक अहमद की पार्टियां होती थी. ये देखिए अलमीरा खुली हुई है जिसमें महिलाओं की साड़ियां हैं, क्योंकि हम इसलिए यहाँ पर छेड़छाड़ नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम सिर्फ अपने दर्शकों को दिखा रहे हैं कि ये अलमारियां पहले से यहाँ पर खुली हुई है.
आपको शाइस्ता की फोटो एल्बम में क्या क्या मिला है वो दिखाऊंगा. तस्वीरों में देखिए अतीक, उसका बच्चा, उसके कुत्ते, उसकी पत्नी, सब नजर आ रहे हैं.
अतीक अहमद के ससुराल में मौजूद हैं और यहाँ की तस्वीरें आपको लगातार हम दिखा रहे हैं. टाइम्स नाउ नवभारत आपको शाइस्ता परवीन की जो ओरिजिनल फोटो है, यानी बगैर बुर्का के, वो आपको दिखा रहा है. इसमें अतीक अहमद है, शाइस्ता परवीन है और इसके साथ ही बीच में एक कहा यह जा रहा है एक लड़का है जो कि अतीक अहमद का ही बेटा है. और ये बेटा अब किस नंबर का है ये नहीं पता चल पाया है.
बिग प्राइम टाइम स्टार एंकर्स लाइक सुधीर की क्या अब शाइस्ता का इनकाउंटर हो सकता है? बहुत सिंपल सी चीज़ लग सकती है हमें सुनने में, बट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, फर्स्टली समवन हैज पॉइंटेड इन द चैट ऑल्सो, दिस इज नॉट एन एनकाउंटर. Encounter, the story is usually, it's a euphemism sometimes for when the police wants to take on mischievous people or people lawbreakers, and they feel that lots of stories in how for example Mumbai underworld dawn was completely taken down because you had encounter cops that would just not wait for the process of the judiciary to declare someone guilty or not, but just bump off the accused because they're a total menace to society. So that's a euphemism for that, but often the story with encounter is that, or technically what is said is that the police has to shoot or kill the accused to defend themselves, which means that when they're trying to arrest or when they are with the accused has somehow shot back or They are also firing at the police. So in self-defense or to stop the accused from running, they shoot and the accused dies. This is not an encounter. This is a killing, because these 3 men are not in the police force. They are not law enforcers. They are random 3 men who have decided to kill an accused. So instead of talking about that and what that says about the total chaos, anchors to then wonder कि अब अगला encounter किसका होगा, या देखिए शाइस्ता को मारा जाएगा क्या. You may want her, you may want justice in this case, as everyone does. You want people who have ruled for very long with impunity to face, the music. But to wonder कि वो मारे जाएंगे या नहीं, अगला encounter किसका, अब ये देखिए, and then barging into the house and we're showing you albums of her for the first time when she's not wearing a burqa. You can see her real face. So you can see Atiq's dog, or you can see now Atiq's child. So this is the sort of reporting you've had around this, which is very disturbing to my mind, and I'll explain to you why it's disturbing. But last clip I want to play from Sudhir Chaudhary, who, and this is not just Sudhir Chaudhary, even on News 18 Aman Chopra, a lot of anchors said कि इसमें पाकिस्तान का हाथ हो सकता है, क्या अलकायदा इसमें इन्वॉल्व है, या क्या ISI इसमें इन्वॉल्व है. इनफैक्ट अगर हम न्यूज़ देखें तो कल अपेरेंटली अलकायदा का कोई प्रेस रिलीज आया जिसमें उन्होंने बोला है कि भाई हम अतीक की मौत का बदला लेंगे. सो वन डजंट नो दैट, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू टेलीविजन न्यूज़ एंकर्स इसमें radical Islamist terror organizations का हाथ हो सकता है. तो I just want you to guys quickly just play that Sudhir Chaudhary clip and then we'll quickly talk about something very important.
तो फिर वो मास्टरमाइंड कौन है जिसने इन मोहरों से अतीक अहमद को मरवा दिया? कोई भी हो सकता है. ये गैंगवार भी हो सकता है, और ये कोई नेता भी हो सकता है, कोई पार्टी भी हो सकती है, ये ISI भी हो सकता है, लश्कर तैयबा भी हो सकता है, वो नेता भी हो सकते हैं जिनके सारे राज अतीक अहमद को पता थे.
So some people have said कि mischievous नहीं, हाँ, I mean what I meant was menace to the society, mischief makers or whatever. I mean it's just to describe people who are breaking the law in general, because some of them can be very hardened criminals like Atiq was in this case, and some of them could also be petty criminals. So it could range from a bunch of things. But anyway, now while Sudhir and everyone is talking about Islamist connection, I think the big important key thing to note here is when those 3 killers killed Atiq, shot him dead, they shouted Jai Shri Ram. And it could also be कि वो सरेंडर करते वक्त ताकि उनको गोली ना लगे, उन्हें जय श्री राम बोल दिया, ये बताने के लिए कि भाई हम कोई बहुत ही ग्रेट कार्य कर रहे हैं, whatever. One doesn't know why they chanted that. It could be, I think sometimes people are also just using this slogan to get away, कि कुछ भी कर दो उसके बाद जय श्री राम बोल दो तो आप बच जाओगे, आपको पुलिस शूट नहीं करेगी. तो ये हो सकता है. लेकिन ये 3 लोग हैं कौन? नाउ न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री के रिपोर्टर प्रतीक गोयल, he went to Banda in Uttar Pradesh, from where one of the killer is, and his name is Lavesh Tiwari. And let's just show the full article to our live audience. If we can have the article full screen. It's full screen. So at the top, the headline says, Religious Proud Brahmin disowned by Bajrang Dal. Meet Lavesh Tiwari accused in Atiq's murder. So that's his photo in the AI. You can see his photo. That's what he looks like. And I just want to first read just the first few paragraphs, because I think it's very interesting to read that. So it says, on December 22, a 22-year-old in Banda, Uttar Pradesh, posted on Facebook, Jai Shri Ram. He said, writing in Hindi, people in front of whom I don't bow down do not like me. Those who like me never ask me to bow down, basically. As with most of his posts, he got few hundred likes, handful of comments, and moved on. 4 months later, on April 15, the post blew up on social media. It got 11,000 likes, 12,000 comments in the course of hours. Brother, you are Bhagat Singh, said one comment in Hindi. Hindus are not made lions, they are born lions, said another. Third heralded the original poster as Hindu Hriday Samrat, the king of Hindu hearts. So, and then just come down. I'll just quickly read it. I think if you can, our producer Aditya, if you can just show them the picture of Lavesh, the full, where he's standing with his gamcha and sunglasses. So that's him. You can see the house where he stays around, the mohalla where he is. You can see a lock on his door where he stays, and I'll come to his family background a little bit, but just come to the subhead of betrayed by Bajrang Dal. So it says, so now people who know him, his friends and people, who have known him for a while, he says that he's a very dignified person. If he feels that someone is disrespecting him, he will make sure to retaliate. If he gets beaten up, he will retaliate. He was unemployed and would often just hang around with his friends. He felt proud to project himself as a Brahmin and used to say it's a revered community. He referred to, one second. Yeah. He revered Ravan as he was Brahmin and Lord Parshuram, whatever. And then basically they talk about how Bajrang Dal has disowned him. Now his friends say ki bhai ye Bajrang Dal, he was working with the Bajrang Dal since the age of 15. However, the head of Bajrang Dal in Banda, Chandramohan Bedi, has said that he has nothing to do with Bajrang Dal, and maybe 5-6 years ago he attended a program or two, but he is not a member. His friends, Lavesh Tiwari's friends, have vehemently denied it and said that why is Bajrang Dal disowning him? We've done so much for the organization. Bajrang Dal, whenever they had organization, whenever they had any event, we would gather crowd for them. And if you can just come to the last paragraph, right above the picture of Satyadev Tripathi, who knows Lavesh. They say whenever big leaders would attend these programs, we were told in advance to gather large number of boys to gather a crowd without a thought. Lavesh and I would also follow these orders. Local Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha leader used to take Lavesh's help to organize crowds. He's posed for photos with him. Now he's claiming that anyone can take a selfie and post on Facebook. So, can come back to me now. So now I just want to, this is something important that I think we should really talk about, and then we can start taking feedback. Here is a man who his friends claim has been associated with the Bajrang Dal. Bajrang Dal has clearly said he's not associated with it. But what is his ideology? Is his ideology of Al-Qaeda or something homegrown, which is, we cannot say here that anyone is responsible because we have to wait for the police investigation. But from his ideology, from the posts that he's made, he is a radical Hindutva extremist, at least from what we've seen. Now, reports in the Indian Express also talk about that he comes from a very poor family, and that his, one of his brothers, a priest, his father said that, he was not employed. COVID times again were very hard times for the family. In all the three cases, the families are very shocked. They can't believe that these boys have committed these crimes. But they also say that they were generally unemployed youths. Outwardly, we can't tell that they were criminals, but yes, they were, just hanging around with friends like Lavesh Tiwari, wasn't doing much. Lavesh has gotten into trouble. He's had 2 cases before, one of outraging modesty, where he slapped a woman. So they are basically people at the margins of society, unemployed, people who may not have a strong purpose in life, because of the economic situation that they're in, and also because life has not dealt them a good hand. And in that mix, if you have, one of Lavesh's friend in News Laundry report, you can read, he says that, we were told to beat up Vidharmis. Vidharmis means Muslims. So they are finding purpose in this ideology of extremism, Hindutva extremism, where you want to, you feel like you're taking on a big cause by putting Muslims in their place and stuff like that. And so the question should be asked here that did they kill Atiq because he was a don, because he was a criminal, because he was an absolute figure of terror for people, who've grown up in and around Prayagraj, Allahabad, that area, and they know what he's done. So were the motivations because they wanted to take justice in their hand and do justice? Ki bhai, we are taking on this big bad don. Or is the ideology more that he's a Muslim don and we must take on this for the cause of Hindutva, or for the cause of Hindus we should commit their crime? Because you are weeding out, in taking on the mafias of Uttar Pradesh, we have to think about what are we replacing it with. Are we replacing it with a just system? Is the rule of law where the police investigates Atiq? finds out all the nexus that he's built, find out the other people that have been involved in his business, and really put everyone behind bars, build a strong case against him. So by weeding out mafia, you're bringing in a sense of law and order for people. And then you have state rule, effective state machinery, effective judiciary. Or you are replacing it with men who find purpose in random killings. Like these 3 boys, unemployed, poor family, radicalized in some aspects, who feel that they have done something great because they have taken on someone in the greater cause of Hindutva. And when you replace it with the second, that doesn't stop with just taking on criminals like Atiq. It will also impact innocent people at one point. Like we know with bulldozer justice, there was a lot of thinking, chalo bulldozer, sare criminals ka hum ghar bulldoze karte hain, so amazing, so good, we don't need to wait for court to say anything, let's just bulldoze. And then you had a case of 2 innocent women who died, who were, in a fire because they were scared of what was happening when the bulldozers approached their house. 2, Hindu women in this case. Innocent people losing their lives and property because bulldozer justice किसी का नहीं देखता. तो उसी तरह ये encounter justice जो है, या ये अपने हाथ में बंदूक उठा के लोगों को मारने लग जाओ, that kind of thing will not stop at just weeding out criminals, because it is a senseless, it's a senseless ideology that will also impact innocent people. It may tomorrow, it could be an accused who may be innocent in a case, but someone feels that no, you need to take them on. So I think that is a very important aspect of this case. The location of these 3 boys, men, where they came from, what was their motivation, what was their ideology. Lots of questions have been asked that, how could they have such an expensive gun? This couldn't have just been, these 3 boys doing something because they didn't have, 50 rupees in their pocket. So such an expensive weapon, how did they buy? So maybe there's someone bigger behind this. But if you just look at Lavesh Tewadi's Facebook profile, he was heavily influenced by Hindutva ideology. His friends say that he was very actively, organizing, helping Bajrang Dal organize events. Now that doesn't mean Bajrang Dal is behind it. Not saying that. But here is someone who's at least influenced or feels that he's very close to the Bajrang Dal ideology. Of course, and we have to wait for investigations and see where this will really go, who's behind this, who benefits from it. But 2 or 3 important things is, like I said, bulldozer justice in counter killings, they are celebrated in television media, but it can lead to, it doesn't stop at justice against criminals or people we don't like, or antisocial elements or mischievous elements, like I said earlier. It does impact innocent people too. It can very well impact innocent people, because then there is just chaos. There is no method to the madness. जिसको लगा कि कोई एंटी नेशनल है, उसको उठा के गोली मार दो. तो ये उसमें फिर जुडिशरी, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, पुलिस का कोई रोल नहीं है. उसमें फिर आपकी बस फीलिंग्स हैं कि मुझे ये पसंद नहीं है, इसको मार दो, मुझे वो पसंद नहीं है, इसको मार दो. And that is not a good transition. If Uttar Pradesh has seen rule of mafia and mafia patronized by political parties like Samajwadi Party, like in Atiq's case, if you want to move away from that, you don't want another set of gangsters taking over. You want that rule of law to be reinstated, and you want the era of dawn come politicians having an influence on the state. You want that to end, but you want it to be replaced with law and order, not with an ideology or with a bunch of people who think they are safe while taking law in their hands and who feel that they can just go after anyone. So those are important questions I think should have been asked. Now you can read our reporting on this by Pratik on our website. Pratik has gone to Banda. He has done a detailed story, like I said, on this man, Lavesh Tewadi. And you can also listen to this week's NL Hafta. NL Hafta is a podcast that we do, and it's a weekly chat of all the editors. So there's Raman Kirpal, there's me, there's Abhinandan, there's Anand Vardhan, who's consulting editor with us. He's a columnist with us, and usually we have a guest. So this week we've discussed this at length, and we have given different angles to this. Why people don't sympathize at all with Atiq, like irrespective of however shocked you are with this incident, you will, at least I have, even in my circles, my friends who have grown up in Allahabad say that, okay, this is not, I mean, well deserved. You know, even for educated people, they feel that well deserved because they know what Atiq's rule has been and how terrible it has been, terrible stories of extortion. A lot of the international press has reported this unfairly, I think. Like one piece in Vice, I think it starts off with saying some people think he's Robin Hood. I don't think that's an assessment you can make for Atiq. Even people from within his community will not say that he's Robin Hood. But yes, he was a politician. So politicians often, they will, to please some constituency or the other to win votes. It is possible that he did a little bit for, you know, Muslims in that area. You know, he used to have like courts basically, kangaroo courts, where he would settle cases. So thoda bahut kisi ke usne acha kiya hoga. But by and large, you can from no angle call him a Robin Hood. Just simply framing this incident as a Muslim lawmaker being shot dead is also wrong, because it is not as simple as ki in Hindutva India, a Muslim lawmaker is shot. He's not a lawmaker like OVC is. He's not just another lawmaker. He is a gangster. And there are many people out there who would want to kill him, from people, other gangs, people who want revenge, and of course, way-led young men who believe that by killing Atiq, they have done something great for the Hindu community. So you have all sorts of people who were baying for his blood. So it is not as simple as just a lawmaker who was killed. Even though factually is correct, he was an MP and he has been an MLA. So, but I think it doesn't add the context that is needed to understand this story, and needed to understand why people don't have sympathy at all, and why some people may have also celebrated and said, "Achha hua, itna usne ganda kiya to theek hai." Those who, you know, what is that famous line, that those who, basically that if your whole business is about killing other people off, you'll also meet that end. So those things we discuss in our NL Hafta podcast. Try and look at this from a society perspective, from a media perspective, from a politics perspective, from a crime perspective. So do check that out. It's only for our subscribers. It's behind the paywall. So you have to be a News Laundry subscriber. And now I think we can take some questions. I'm going to just look at the chat. For some reason, I don't have internet. Just hold on. Okay. Let me check. One second. Can we get the chats? Somehow it's not working on my laptop. What is the Wi-Fi here? Okay. So now I'll just take your questions. We can have a few questions. On if you guys want to talk about TV Newsance, if you want to talk about giving us any feedback, please feel free. We'll also take your super chats. And I think one important thing is, lot of you want us to talk about Satyapal Malik. Well, we have done a Tippani episode on it, so you can watch that. Satyapal Malik को कल CBI ने बुलाया भाई क्वेश्चनिंग के लिए. ये न्यूज़ ब्रेक हुई है, तो बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट है कि CBI, ED, IT किस लिए यूज़ हो रही हैं. So I think personally the interview was a great watch. I really liked watching Karan Thapar with him. I think both of them, I think even Karan Thapar in the interview was very shocked at points that ये क्या बोल रहे हैं. So he kept repeating कि वाकई कमाल की बात है, आप ये कह रहे हैं. So I think even Karan Thapar was really, while he was interviewing, he was realizing that he's getting gold out of this guy who's just no holds bar talking. And towards the end, I think Karan Thapar says also, जो आप कह रहे हैं वो खुश नहीं होंगे, indicating that the powers that be, the Prime Minister and the BJP top brass is not going to be happy with what you're saying. And he says, कोई बात नहीं, मैं तो फकीर आदमी हूँ, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, मुझे किसी का डर नहीं है. तो I think that was very, but I think कुछ लोग ये बोल रहे थे कि सत्यपाल मलिक का इंटरव्यू छुप जाए इसलिए ये किलिंग हुआ है. तो वो मुझे लगता है बहुत ही बड़ी कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरी है. इस कॉन्स्पिरेसी में नहीं हमें जाना चाहिए. अतीक का केस अलग है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत सारे सवाल रेज करता है, और सत्यपाल मलिक का केस अलग है. सो वी शुडंट इंडल्ज इन दिस कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरी की मर्डर करवाया गया ताकि इंटरव्यू छुप जाए. दैट आई डोंट बिलीव इन. ओके, why should I subscribe to NL? What's differentiate with NL with Godi Media? So I will urge you to lots differentiates us from Godi Media. Yeah? So look, Newsance and Tippani are shows where we critique the media, and that is one of the prime goals of News Laundry, because we are called News Laundry, news ki dhulai. So not from, we've been doing this from 2014. जब यूएपीए कह रही हूँ, जब यूपीए का टाइम था, जब बरखा, सागरिका घोष, ये सब स्टार एंकर्स हुआ करते थे, तो ये तब से हम करे आ रहे हैं और तब से हम इसकी बात कर रहे हैं. So you can watch some of the stuff we've done earlier also. That is our prime job, and Newsance and Tippani are about that. But if you go on our YouTube channel and you come down, आफ्टर न्यूसेंस का प्लेलिस्ट है, फिर टिप्पनी का प्लेलिस्ट है, फिर आप न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री इंटरव्यूज़ पे जाते हैं जहाँ हम इंटरव्यूज़ करते हैं बहुत से लोगों के साथ. विवेक अग्निहोत्री का इंटरव्यू अभी फ्री है आउटसाइड द पे वॉल, तो प्लीज़ वॉच इट, इट्स फ्री. सैल्वाटोर बबानस का इंटरव्यू है, वो भी फ्री है, आप देख सकते हैं. ML शर्मा का इंटरव्यू. सो गो टू न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री इंटरव्यूज़ एंड चेक आउट ऑल दीज इंटरव्यूज़ एंड देन कम डाउन टू ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट्स. Bunch of our ground reports, and these are reporting done by our reporting team, Hindi and English. We have a report on manual scavenging. We have a report on the Agra case, where I think the Agra police has done a very good job, where there was cow slaughter, and the case basically was hatched with Hindu Mahasabha and another group of Muslims to implicate another Muslim. So it shows you how a lot of cow vigilantism is about extortion, about hafta vasuli, and how a lot of cow vigilantes and these right-wing groups basically do vasuli. तो उनको cow protection से कुछ वो नहीं है, पैसे के लिए वो यहाँ पे कल्यूड कर रहे हैं एक और मुस्लिम के साथ, जो एक और मुस्लिम को फंसाना चाहते हैं. तो ये केस बहुत ही फैसिनेटिंग है, आप देख सकते हो. बसंत कुमार ने करे, 3rd रिपोर्ट है, मुस्लिम्स फ्रेम्ड फॉर मनी. And so we do a lot of this ground report. We have done a ground report from Gujarat also this month, where we talk about people who go to Gujarat, people who go to USA from Gujarat illegally. What is the kind of nexus there is? And I think that is also a very fascinating report. So we do a lot of ground reports. How are we different from Godi Media is we will not do anything just for TRPs. We are completely ad-free. None of whatever you see on our channel is not backed by advertisers. Even our YouTube shows do not take ads. Our website is completely ad-free, which means a lot of the stuff that we do, Newsance, Tippani, ground reporting, it is all backed by subscriber money. We have a subscription on our website. I think we can show them. If we can just open the News Laundry website and we click on the subscribe button, which is on the top right corner. Are we on it? 1 second, our producer is just finding it. In fact, let's just take you through the News Laundry website so you can just see a little bit about the kind of work we do. Just let me know when we're on. Okay, we're on. So this is the News Laundry website. The first piece that you see is Let's Talk About BJP. Now, this is a podcast series, Let's Talk About. This time, we're talking about BJP, and it is a 4-part series. 3 parts are out, and the 4th part will be released soon. It's very detailed, deep dive conversations right from the beginning of the BJP to present times with multiple people, including people from RSS, people from the BJP. So really trying and understanding the party. That's one of our podcasts. It is only for subscribers, so you have to subscribe to News Laundry. Now, if you go to the subscribe button, can we go to the subscribe button? Yeah. So you can subscribe. There are various plans that you can check out. There's a disruptor plan, which is 900 rupees quarterly. Then yearly disruptor 3,000, and then you're a game changer is 10,000 yearly. So all our reporting is supported by these 3 subscription plans. Now, what do you get when you become a disruptor? You get access to paywall stuff. जैसे कि हमारे interviews paywall के पीछे होते हैं. You can watch that. You can check out our podcast, like I said, our interviews. Some reports are behind the paywall, so you'll get access to all the paywall. NL Hafta, which is a weekly podcast. It's really fun. We have a great list of guests that come. You can listen to them. You can be part of our Discord server. You can come for meetups, and you get access to events like Media Rumble, which is our annual event. So there are lots of perks you get. So it is not just कि आप हमें donate करो. हम डोनेशंस नहीं मांग रहे हैं, हम सब्सक्रिप्शंस मांग रहे हैं. आप सब्सक्राइब करके हमारी जर्नलिज्म सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री में जितना भी हम रेवेन्यू, अभी जो भी हम हमारा रिपोर्टिंग है वो सारा इससे बैक्ड है. और फिर अगर हम NL सेना पे जाएं, if we can just go to NL सेना tab, I'm going to tell people a bit about NL सेना also. Are we on it? So let me also go on it. 1 second. Yeah. Now NL सेना is basically the idea came कि सारी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ की सेना होती है जो कभी कभी काफ़ी हुड़दंग मचाती है, बट हम एक ऐसी सेना क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं जो पीस लविंग हो और जो इंडिपेंडेंट मीडिया को सपोर्ट करे. सो NL सेना, इफ़ यू बिकम अ मेंबर, you can support our various reporting projects. So lots of things have been reported thanks to the NL सेना. जैसे गुजरात से रिपोर्टिंग पूरी NL सेना से हुई थी. अपकमिंग कर्नाटका इलेक्शंस जो हम करने वाले हैं, they are going to be, the current project is Karnataka election, which is 2023. Our goal was, we're almost close to our goal. It's about 6 lakh rupees. And we are going to be reporting on Karnataka this week. Atul, me and Sumedha, we're going to be there. We'll try and get you interviews. We'll do a lot of fun stuff. And this is completely backed by our subscribers. So हमारी पूरी election reporting है वो subscribers back करते हैं, जैसे कि NL सेना subscribe करके. तो NL सेना पे आप क्लिक करो तो आप soldier बन सकते हो, bishop बन सकते हो, knight, different rupees के लिए different support आप दे सकते हैं और उसके लिए आपको different perks मिलेंगे. So check out NL सेना. And one more thing I want to point you to, which is very important, is our legal fund. Now, where is our legal fund? Can we check out the legal fund on our website? Yeah, we're on the legal fund. Now, we are in the middle of a lot of legal cases. तो आपको पता ही है, इंडिया टुडे ने हमें कोर्ट में ले गए हैं, हमारे अगेंस्ट केस फाइल करा है डेफेमेशन का और कॉपीराइट वायलेशन का. टाइम्स नाउ ने भी किया है. ये न्यूसेंस और टिप्पणी के इंटरव्यूज़ कह रही हूँ, ये न्यूसेंस और टिप्पणी के जो हम रिपोर्ट्स करते हैं उसकी वजह से जो शोज़ करते हैं हम बेसिकली, वो कुछ शोज़ उनको पसंद नहीं आए, तो दे हैव गॉन टू द कोर्ट. एंड वी ऑल्सो हैव we had an IT department survey, so we have also gone to the court on that. You know, the IT department has filed a complaint against us, and one of the complaints was dismissed. But despite our earlier petition, there are cases, pending in the High Court. So, we're in court with the IT department also, and we're in court with India Today and Times Now. So you can support our legal fund, which helps us fight legal cases. See, now you can come back to me and show my face so I can appeal to you, showing you my face. So, big organizations have a big legal team and they have lots of money. So, अगर कोई भी बड़ा चैनल हम पे केस करते हैं, उनके पास एक टीम है और उनके पास पैसे हैं कि वो 10 साल तक केस लड़ते रहें. तो उससे उनके फंड्स में तो ड्रेन नहीं होगा, उनके काम में भी ड्रेन नहीं होगा कि वो हमसे 100x है साइज़ में, और हम लोग बहुत छोटे हैं, 50 लोग हैं ऑलमोस्ट. बट व्हेन वी हैव टू फाइट अ केस एंड इट हैज़ टू गो ऑन फॉर 10 years, sometimes we have very few resources in terms of manpower also. The CEO not only has to worry about the business, but he also has to worry about these legal cases. I sometimes have to look at, what was said, what is the notice, because some of the cases are against nuisance. So apart from editing, apart from hosting, apart from everything else I do, I have to also channelize some of my energies into what the legal cases are against us. So a small team, it's very hard to fight these legal battles, and this is why legal people slap legal cases, so that a small team can be burdened and they ultimately shut down. So we don't want to shut down. We want to fight these cases. We are fighting these cases, and some of these cases we have had some amount of orders that have come in our favor, and you can help us fighting these legal battles by funding our legal fund. So you can go to newslaundry.com, NL-legal fund, and you can help us fight these legal battles. Now, I'm very sorry this live became a bit weird because we couldn't be technically very sound, but I think next time we'll do a better live. A lot of people have said, agli baar live hi mat karna, but we want to do live, we want to talk to you people. And we will take a few questions before we end. I think we can take questions for the next 15 minutes. Okay, where are they? So one person has said, when Muslim take gun, terrorist; when Dalit take gun, Naxalite; when Brahmins take gun, nationalist. Why? So I don't think right-thinking people will call these men nationalists. I think कुछ लोग हैं जो ऐसा सोच सकते हैं, but this is what we have to fight against. Taking a gun, whether a Muslim, person from the Dalit community, person from the tribal community, person from the upper caste, Brahmin caste, or Thakurs or whatever, all of us have to collectively come together on an understanding that taking the gun is wrong, the root of violence is wrong, and that is why we must have a lot of respect for people like Sudha Bharadwaj, who have fought all their lives, looked at grave injustices, but always gone to the court, always approached the court, no matter how slow it is, no matter how painful it is, no matter how difficult it is, always go the legal route. And you can watch my interview with Sudha Bharadwaj. It's a very long one. It's almost 2 hours, and we talk a lot about this. So I don't think these 3 guys are nationalists, and anyone who celebrates them as nationalists, we should fight against that. We should fight against that ideology. Is people's money enough to run such a huge organization? And if the traditional media improves, and it's huge if, then will it affect NL? So yes, we are about, I think, 60 people. It is a struggle, I must admit, running an organization without advertisements, consistently appealing for subscriptions, asking people to find value, us also trying to be, trying to live up to all the faith that people put in us, because when people subscribe to us, we are also responsible to our subscribers. We have to make sure that our content is, whatever news we put out, whatever videos we do, they are worth people's time. ये नहीं कि पैसे लेके फिर हम ऐश कर रहे हैं कि चलो अब हमें रिपोर्टिंग ज़्यादा सीरियस करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, या गलतियाँ कर रहे हैं, या इररिस्पॉन्सिबल हो रहे हैं अपनी जर्नलिज्म के साथ. सो उसमें हमारे ऊपर भी बहुत प्रेशर रहता है, और होना भी चाहिए. So one of the things is that, look, we don't want to become a Times of India, or we don't want to become, even a Today group in terms of scale. Because it's true that achieving scale through subscriptions is hard. We want to remain small, relevant, and high impact. So, we want to, of course, grow bigger, and we want to have more reporters so that हम, India cover कर सकें अच्छी तरह से. सिर्फ North India नहीं, लेकिन South में भी जा सकें, North East में भी जा सकें, West में भी जा सकें, Center में भी जा सकें, and we can really get you good coverage. But relevant coverage. We don't want to ever be a 24/7 news channel कि हमें दिन रात आपको कुछ ना कुछ दिखाते रहें. लेकिन कुछ हुआ तो उसमें हम context rich reports आपके लिए लाएं. We get you interesting stuff which add to your understanding of the society around you, of the world around you. And for that will be our aim. So our aim, and I think that can be done with subscriptions. We have been successful so far in sustaining News Laundry since 2012 without any ads. I think that is a huge achievement to speak of. There aren't any other news organizations in India who have achieved this, and I can say this quite proudly, but also correctly, because a lot of people do a mix of ads and mix of subscriptions, or donations and ads, or some kind of grants and ads and donations. We have actually been able to sustain ourselves on subscriptions. The prime revenue model is subscriptions. Of course, we have events on it and we have investments on that, but the prime model is revenue is through subscription, and we've been able to do it. So I'm very optimistic about the future. But yes, it's a tough road. It's a tough choice. And if traditional media improves, then we have good competition. I mean, and I don't think traditional media में सब कुछ ही बहुत ही गंदा है. Like, I will show you a paper that I read every morning, the Indian Express. That's also traditional media. I think they do a very good job. And it's not that everything is shit and that's why we are able to survive. I think what you are trying to also say that nuisance और टिप्पणी में हम बाकी TV channels के बारे में बहुत बात करते हैं. तो what will we do if they become good? We'll talk about how great they are. So that's not a problem. Media critique will also always be a big feature of what we do, good or bad. And like in this episode also with Atiq, we spoke about how difficult it was for reporters. So it isn't always just criticizing them, but also sometimes also realizing that they have a very hard job out there to do. And we recognize that. We're not just here to point out when they're wrong. We're there to do that, but we also want to look at how hard it may be for those on the ground.
There's a question by Rajesh De Sarkar.
Where? What is it?
Hi Manisha, don't you think the media speculation on encounter of Atiq's wife will again make the viewers apathetic?
So this is a question by Rajesh, and he says that speculation about Atiq's wife's murder, wouldn't it make the people apathetic? And I think this you have hit bullseye with this question of yours, because this is the prime thing to remember, that with this kind of media frenzy around Atiq now, whatever he is, whatever crimes he's done, and we can think about as a society, what does this kind of reporting do? It makes you, desensitizes you to what is happening. So you become celebratory, you're very awestruck with the spectacle of it, or you're entertained by it, or you're happy by it, or you're indifferent to it. But you are not being, you're not being forced to think about what this is. What does this mean for you as a society? Today it's a known gangster who's been shot dead. Tomorrow it could be an innocent person who the majority just simply doesn't like. So that is what you need to really think about. Now I sometimes that is what my fear is, even with that bulldozer reporting, how we were celebrating कि देखो योगी जी के राज में बुलडोजर का राज चलेगा और सारे दंगाई डर जाएंगे, तो वो सब ठीक है, लेकिन इस रिपोर्टिंग से a lot of people will just cease to ask questions of justice, of law and order, of policing, and they will get desensitized to the point that फिर कुछ भी चलेगा, then anyone can kill anyone, and ठीक है, one more murder, any house can get demolished, innocent person can lose, because remember that in the bulldozer justice also, like दंगाई तो accusation था, लेकिन a lot of people may not have actually participated, or a lot of people may not, at least in the northeast where we saw, people's juice shops, their commercial their commercial enterprises, small shops, they were they came down and they were bulldozed, and these guys were not rioting. So but we have become so insensitive कि चलो बड़ा अच्छा हो रहा है, wow, amazing, clap clap, another spectacle to watch. We are not even thinking of what this means to innocent people and how it can impact our lives. So I think it's a very important question that you've raised. Such reporting can really desensitize us, lull us into not asking important questions.
Question by Awara Musafir.
Awara Musafir has a question. What is it? If our producer Aditya can just help me trace it.
Hey Manisha, I don't know if you will take this question, but what are your views on the effect those three murderers will put on society?
What am I? So Awara, what is this full name? Awara Musafir asks that what is the impact of the three murderers?
Will put on society.
What are the? Like I told you, like the report that we have done in News Laundry, before they killed, and like they used to post a lot of things on Facebook. No one noticed, but after their name came out in this killing, the posts, suddenly there were likes on it, people commenting कि तुम भगत सिंह हो. I mean, poor Bhagat Singh. And look at where our conversation in society has gone. You want to call him a Bhagat Singh? I mean, it's such an insult to Bhagat Singh. And I think some people will celebrate it. And very important thing, what the police has told us so far, that the three guys, one of them has confessed that we did this because we wanted to become bigger mafia. We wanted to become bigger gang lords. So they are doing it for fame. They're doing it for relevance. And they want to become a bigger, nuisance to society than Atiq. So this is where it is, and I think it's very, very dangerous. And and again, like this is why how media reports on something is very important, because if the media is glorifying Atiq's killing, even if they're not saying ki these three guys are heroes, but they're glorifying his killing, so the killers will also be glorified. Ultimately, what is it? अच्छा किया, ठीक किया, मार दिया, बहुत शाबाश बेटा. So that is one place where I think the media has played a very, very, very dangerous role.
Noor Singh has asked me, do you feel News Laundry as an organization has a bias?
Noor Singh has asked, Navnoor Singh has asked, why am I not able to see any of these? Are you seeing this on it's on live chat?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I am unable to see your questions, but my producer is helping me with this. So do you think, someone's asked, do you think we have, as an organization, do we have a bias? We have actually a very a piece on it that Abhinandan wrote, our position at News Laundry, and someone can helpfully put that up in the chat box. Our position on bias has been very clear. News Laundry as an organization does not have a bias, in the sense that नो वन सिट्स इन एन एडिट मीटिंग एंड से आज आप ये लाइन लोगे, जैसे मीडिया में दिखाते हैं ना कि आज हम लाइन लेंगे कि अगला इनकाउंटर शाइस्ता का है नहीं, वो हम बैठ के डिसाइड नहीं करते कि हम इसके बारे में क्या कहेंगे, बिकॉज वी थिंक कलेक्टिवली पुटिंग आउट एन एडिटोरियल पोजिशन इज just very old-fashioned. A news organization is made up of different people with different ideologies. All of us selectively may have our biases. I may be biased, someone else may be biased, because bias is a very natural part of how you are as a human being. So when we do NL Hafta, why we started a weekly podcast was because we wanted to be transparent about our biases. So those who consume News Laundry can come on NL Hafta and they can listen to us every week and our opinions and our biases, and they get to understand, okay, where are these people coming from? So you may say, I have a liberal bias, or I have, or I'm this and that. But important question to understand is also, most journalists have biases, but how do you counter biases? Because professionally, we have a duty towards our readers and viewers to be able to give you correct news, which is not colored by bias. So I'll give you a simple example of Pratik's reporting from Banda on this killer of Atiq Ahmed, Lavesh. There are his friends are saying कि भाई ये तो बजरंग दल से related है. He's been working with them since he's 13. He used to organize so many things for them. Pratik has gone to the Bajrang Dal functionary there, and he's asked them, no, this is an accusation. What do you have to say? And then he says, look, he may have attended a few programs 4 years ago, but he's not our own, and we disown him. So this is how you check biases. Although I think Pratik as a reporter is one of the very balanced reporters that we have. He's very, he's someone, he goes on the ground and whatever he sees, he tells it like it is. He's not very colored by his own ideas or perception. But he has made the effort to bring you both sides. What the friends are saying, what the family is saying, what the police is saying, what the Bajrang Dal is saying. So then you can make up your own mind. And you can see. So I think that is how you check bias. In all our reporting, we will always give you all aspects of a story. Nuisance mein, I am very biased against, and I have no qualms in admitting it, but I have a huge bias against hate that is peddled every night against minorities. मज़ार जिहाद, थूक जिहाद, ऐसी टाइप की जो वायात न्यूज़ दिखते हैं, मैं उसके बहुत खुल के अगेंस्ट हूँ. इसमें मुझे छुपाने की कोई भी बात नहीं है. और मुझे लगता है टीवी न्यूज़ के दौर में इससे बुरा दौर प्रोपेगेंडा हमेशा से होता था. लोग हमेशा से पार्टीज़ को सपोर्ट करते थे. कांग्रेस के टाइम में भी एंकर्स थे जो कांग्रेस को सपोर्ट करते थे या थोड़ा सा कांग्रेस के लिए प्रोपेगेंडा कर सकते थे. और पॉलिटिकल बायसेस हमेशा से थे. और ये सब हमेशा से एक प्रॉब्लम मीडिया की रही है बहुत टाइम से. लेकिन ये बहुत ही बुरा दौर है टीवी न्यूज़ के लिए, क्योंकि आप पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ का साइड लेना तो ठीक है, वो पार्टिजनशिप है, बट आप इस कदर लोगों के अगेंस्ट, इंडियंस के अगेंस्ट कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरीज डालते हो, मुस्लिम्स के बारे में कुछ बोलते हो, फार्मर्स के बारे में कुछ बोलते हो, शाहीन बाग में कोई विमेन बैठी हैं प्रोटेस्ट करें उनके बारे में कुछ बोल रहे हो. तो आपका डेली का काम ये है कि आप लोगों के पीछे पड़ जाओ, लोगों के बारे में अफवाहें फैलाओ. Not just limited to religion, but you saw what happened with Sushant Singh Rajput and Riya. So I don't think there's been a worse time for television news in India. This is the worst time for television news in India. Surely because every night you're fed poison. You are made to be suspicious of your neighbor. You are made to hate anyone who is different from you, whether it's religion, whether it's caste, whether it's language, whether it is people from a particular state, or whether it's people who don't support a particular party. You're taught every night to hate. And I think that is extremely dangerous for society. I think they are playing a worse role than even political parties in terms of polarizing our society and stripping you of context and making you insensitive human beings. So that's my rant. I'm very biased when it comes to that. And on nuisance, you'll always have that bias. I will always talk against all of this. I'll not try and balance that out.
Renu Singh has asked, Manisha, do you think society is embedded with hatred beyond imagination? Do you see any hope?
I see a lot of hope. I don't think we should be very pessimistic. Yes, aspects of our society are hateful and loud, and I think those people are the loudest. The problem is that the hate we can see very clearly, and the people who hate are the loudest people. So sometimes we feel drowned by all of this, but there are people who are right thinking, irrespective of the party that they support. There are people who still believe in some values. I think you should watch this video by Lallan Top on Atiq's murder, where one of the reporters is talking to people who've gathered outside the Allahabad High Court to see the 3 killers. So there are people supporting, and there are lots of WhatsApp uncles in it who are saying कि बहुत ही अच्छा हुआ, कर्मों का फल मिल गया. But there are also young people who are studying law who are saying कि ठीक है भाई अतीक जो भी है, but it's very scary जो हुआ है. You know, ये तो this is an attack on our judiciary. So people still see sense. Emotions can run high, but I do believe in. I've not lost hope, and I don't think it's all hate. And people who are against this kind of ideology just need to be louder. They need to come together more often, and they need to put their stand out more clearly. Otherwise, hate will win, or it'll seem like it's winning.
Avilov Nilay has asked, Hi Manisha, do you plan in future to have wider subscription plan options so you can target niche audience like me as well? I want to pay, but 10K is a little off for me. What are your thoughts?
So you don't have to pay 10K. You can also, first I'll try and get you to play. You can also pay 900 rupees for a quarterly subscription, which is not very expensive. I think don't pay 10K, don't pay 3,000 if you can't. Pay 900, start quarterly, and if you think it's worth your time, then invest a little more. See, look, news is a very intense operation. People don't realize it's very expensive, and this is one of the reasons why news is doing so badly, because people don't want to pay for it. So when advertisers are going to pay for news, you will have news catering to advertisers. Television medium, newspaper, it's a very expensive operation. Light, camera, sound, travel, stay, working on reports, you know, they can be time consuming. So news is essentially an expensive business, and when you have advertisers subsidizing it for viewers, it creates a huge problem, and we are in the mess that we are in today because of that. So maybe we can try. We sometimes have student subscriptions, so we give subscriptions for free. Maybe going ahead, we can, you know, start some lower options also. But you can start with 900 for quarterly. It's not that much, I think.
Someone has said India needs anti-SLAPP suit law. Anti-SLAPP suit law. Your take, since you are victims of many SLAPP suits.
People can hear your question, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need anti-SLAPP lawsuits? I mean, maybe there are some deterrents, like if it's a frivolous thing, then sometimes you have to pay and all that. So I don't think so. I mean, I don't think we need an anti-SLAPP this thing. But I think the courts should certainly come down very heavily when it's frivolous and when it wastes the court's time. I also feel like in India, the problem is that people like us keep getting SLAPP suits. Now, what have we gotten a SLAPP suit from? From one of the Times Now reporting, the Times Now case was basically that in one of our nuisance, we talked about the Rhea Sushant Singh Rajput case. And we said that in TOI, you are writing editorials against television media that ran a circus around this case. And on Times Now, you had primetime anchors like Navika and all saying कि ये girlfriend ने क्या करा है, girlfriend was like this with the family, like that with the family, Sushant was murdered, look at his, you know, marks on around his neck, or look at these mal chats. So this Sushant Rhea case, I think if anyone has a very strong case, it's Rhea who should file defamation cases against Times Now. Aaj tak, all these people who called her Kala Jaduni, Kala Jadu karne wali and what all nonsense. So wo bichari, she's not been able to fight her case. Or she's not had the courage also, maybe because the public intensity, the scrutiny was so bad, it was so vicious that she was not unable to do that. She has to make do with it and live her life and take everything that was said about her on her chin. And people like us who pointed out that this is wrong, you're defaming someone, we have a case against us by Times Now. So I think in India, the problem is also that those who actually defame, run kangaroo courts, run vicious, malicious media trials, they just get away. And that, I think, has to stop. Okay. Raj Singh says, Manisha ji, please do a story on Punjab's water crisis. Extrajudicial killings happened in the time of KPS Gill. No one's ready to listen to our issues or talk about them. Everyone's calling us terrorists. I think a lot has been written about Punjab. There's been very good reporting in the mainstream media also. You know, Shekhar Gupta, Tavleen. We have a spectacular book by Mark Tully. So a lot of those times have been covered, reported. We are doing a Let's Talk About on Punjab. So we will talk a lot about those times of absolute mayhem and terror in the state. So hopefully you can catch that. That's also going to be a subscribers. That's also going to be for our subscribers. And it's wrong to call anyone a terrorist. Just like that as a slur. कि मुझे तुम्हारा शक्ल नहीं पसंद, तुम terrorist हो. ये सही नहीं है, तो I'm not for it. Could you please get Ravish Kumar to NL as a permanent member? I think Ravish Kumar is doing fabulously on his YouTube channel. Why will he become a permanent member of Newslaundry? We'll try and get him for shows and in conversations, but he's doing a great job with his channel, so he's happy there. Will you speak about minorities of Pakistan and Bangladesh? Caps lock. I don't think I need to speak about it. I think it's very clear how both these countries have failed their minorities terribly. And they are excellent lessons for India to learn that when radicalization takes root, it is not just minorities. Today in Pakistan, even liberals are under threat. Even Muslims who don't believe in the dogma can be threatened. Muslims, communities, Ahmadiyas, what they have suffered, Sufi shrines being bombarded. I mean, once radicalization takes root in any country, it is not just the minorities that suffer. The majority inevitably get impacted. So a lot of people have spoken about how these two countries have failed the minorities. I agree completely. And I think these are good lessons to learn from India. ये नहीं कि उन्होंने करा तो हम भी वही करते हैं. We should learn from them. Manisha, you should shift the pattern of taking questions through super chats. Okay. Ma'am, a question. Has polarization impacted Hindus more than ever? I think yes. I think polarization नहीं, but media conversations have a huge impact because अगर हर चैनल में रात को आपको जिहाद या हिंदू खतरे में बोलेंगे तो inevitably सबको लगेगा कि हिंदू खतरे में है, कुछ तो हो रहा है देश में कि हम सब खतरे में हैं. So I think media has a huge. Can you do a separate episode for atheists? Why atheists can also watch regular stuff. I don't think they need to be catered to separately. I'm not an atheist, by the way. But episode for atheists, or do you mean like on atheism? That could be interesting. Let's talk about atheism, could be interesting. But atheists can consume the same news as believers. I don't think there's a problem. Manisha, thoda chill. After all, you are media. Chillao. Badi khabar. Okay. I was fascinated by Last Week Tonight and other such shows, freedom of speech in US. Why don't I find such shows concerning Indian affairs? Is freedom of speech not that important? Yeah, it's very important. In fact, we want to do a series on freedom of speech and we think maybe we should revive that at some point. Firstly, people should understand what does free speech mean. Because I find this really funny on Twitter. What happens is someone abuses you and you block them. And then they'll say, my free speech has been taken away from me. No, that's not. That is my right to block abusers and not listen to you. If you're saying something in a room and I walk out of that room, I'm not impacting your free speech. I'm just choosing to stay away from what you're saying. Free speech attacks is when I set the police after you, when I set the law after you, when I kill you for what you say. That's an attack on freedom of speech. And that's what we should be talking about. Someone from Tamil Nadu says, I like your rational reportage. Thank you. I think that's it. Those are the questions. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, staying with us for so long. And very sorry for all the glitches, all the F-ups in this OBS live. We were a bit comical, but we'll try and be better next time. We want to do more lives, at least 1 in 2 months. So please tell us what we can do in the live shows, which is better, which is more engaging, and we'll try and follow that. We really want to talk to you guys more often. So we will want to do this more often and we'll try and be better next time and we don't look comical. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Please check out Newslaundry. Check out all our ground reports, including from Uttar Pradesh on Atiq case. And check out NL Hafta, which is a weekly podcast we do where we discuss news of the week. This week's episode is fantastic, if I may say it myself. We discuss Atiq case very deeply, so I think you'll really enjoy listening to that. Check out NL Hafta. You can watch NL Chota Hafta on YouTube. वो थोड़ा सा snippet है which is outside the paywall for non-subscribers. So if you don't subscribe to Newslaundry, you can check out NL Chota Hafta. But you should subscribe to Newslaundry. You should go to newslaundry.com and subscribe to Newslaundry. Pay to keep news free. Thank you guys for staying with us.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free. और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आजाद है खबरें।